Hey guys, it's John. Welcome back to the farm. We're going to start a new video series. We're getting to springtime where people are thinking about adding animals, or maybe they have animals and they want to add different animals. So we're going to do a little why series today. We're going to start it today actually. We've got pigs, chickens, ducks, turkeys, and we're going to talk about why you should raise some of these animals. Today, we're going to start with pigs. Let's get going. If you followed us for very long, you know we raise kunekune pigs. So most of these things are going to be for most breeds of pigs, but some of them are not the same. Some may have different personalities. They may be a little more aggressive, but we only have experience with kunekunes, so we're going to talk about the kunekune pigs. First thing I want to talk about is feed. One reason you should raise pigs is because they don't take a lot of feed. At least ours don't. We do have 27. I did mention in a video earlier that we had 40. Obviously, I need to learn how to count, but they don't take a whole lot of feed. We feed them 2 cups per day, twice a day. So 2 cups in the morning, 2 cups in the afternoon. And besides that, they get acorns, scraps, fruits and veggies. So you're not really wasting any of your scraps. Kids have just eaten bananas. Pigs will take care of the peel for us. So one reason we raise pigs is because they don't take a lot of feed, at least this breed. They also like to graze in the pastures, dig for acorns, grubs, roots of plants. So that is one reason why we raise them. With 27, your feed cost goes up a little bit. But if you just have 3 or 4 pigs, it's really not going to take you that much feed to raise your pigs. All right, the next reason why you should raise pigs is because of their housing. The housing doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It just needs to be something that can keep them out of the elements, the wind and the rain, somewhere they can get dry when it's cold. And we've used pallet shelters. We have the barns where we rotate the pigs around, and those have worked very well. And we also use the pigloos. The pigloos are our favorite option because we can just roll them up, roll the house to the next area, and it's super simple to keep your pigs rotating to fresh pasture. As far as bedding, we just use hay. Some people ask why we don't use straw. We use the hay because the pigs will eat the hay. Whatever they don't use, they'll bed down on it. So they can eat it, and they can also stay warm in it. So that's why we use the hay. Let's get this back to one of our pigloos that needs some hay right now. We'll check that out. So this is one of our pigloos that we rotate our pigs around in, and you can see Boudreaux here. He's already eating whatever hay that he wants. But these are our favorite housing options just because of the ease of movement. We've got it filled up with hay now, so they'll have good bedding in there tonight. It's been getting down in the 20s a little bit. So once you have your good housing, you want to get them a good bedding, at least where they can get dry and out of the wind. Other care things that you need to think about when you're raising pigs is worming. We've done a video on natural deworming. You can check that out. You need to worm pigs 2 to 3 times a year or as needed. And it's not that difficult. It can be intimidating at the start, but they're very hardy, and we've not had to do anything with them. Hey, Bandit. Besides worm a couple times a year. So as far as healthy and hardy, they are really good at that. The other thing is nail trimming. We've done a video on nail trimming, and that can be intimidating as well, especially when you get to your older pigs, but it's really not that hard. Once you get doing it, you get used to it, the pigs get used to it, and it can be really good on their hoof care. Some pigs, they don't need it as often as others, so you just got to keep track of your herd and check on which ones are needing it. Some wear down naturally, others don't wear down as good. Hey Charlie, how you doing, bud? So besides worming and hoof care, there's really not much other maintenance that they need. They're quite hardy. You give them a good shelter, some good feed, and they'll do really well for you. So that is an actual pretty easy thing when it comes to raising pigs. So let's head over to our next pen and we'll talk about something that we do that we feel keeps our pigs healthier. I've got a helper now, so it should go a lot faster.
It should.
Another way we tend to keep our pigs healthy is to get them off of their manure. You can see this spot is ready. They've eaten the grass all down, and it's time to get them off their manure. We think this helps them stay healthy. So we're gonna set our fencing up. We're gonna go over here into this paddock and get them off of their manure. All right, guys, you can see how easy it is to move them, and the biggest reason we move them is to get them off their manure, but also it gives them fresh pasture to eat, and that helps with your feed. This isn't the best paddock that we have, but there is grass in there that they're getting. They just probably won't stay in here as long as we would normally keep them in here, but the grass is starting to grow and we're getting them to fresh spots. You can't move your pigs. You can always rake up the manure and get it out of there for them. The kunekunes and maybe all pigs, they tend to use the bathroom in the same area, at least the heaviest parts of that area. So it's easy to clean and get out of there, and you can put it in the compost and get rid of that. With moving the pigs and the housing, you also need a good fencing to keep them in, and that's another good thing about the pigs, and I know this is true for most pigs. You do not need a lot to keep them housed. We use this small electrical fence and they respect that very well. I know people will use electrical tape or even just the wire, 1 or 2 wires to keep their pigs in, and it also keeps animals out, most animals out anyway. So with housing, feed, you need good fencing to keep your pigs in, and it does not take a lot. You can use the hog panels if you want. We don't use hog panels because we move them so often. It'd be a lot harder to move hog panels all the time. You know, Kevin's got a good scratching post here. So anyway, the fencing is not hard to keep these guys maintained where you want them, so you don't have breakout artists. They do respect that electric. So let's head on and check out some other pigs. All right, we're back here with the girls in the woods. And one of the other things you need to think about when you're caring for your pigs is that pigs don't sweat, and they're gonna need either a wallow or a pool. We use pools just because we move our pigs so much that they don't really have time to get a wallow. So we're trying to move them every 1 or 2 weeks in the summer. So that's why we use the kiddie pools or sand boxes, and those do really well for us. We have these ones in the woods here, so they'll get good shade. But when we're out in the pastures and we don't have shade, we like to get up a shade cloth so that they can get into the shade and into those pools where they can cool down. All right, now maybe you can hear me. They've got some feed. They are happy. We're gonna talk about purposes of your pigs, why you would want to raise them. One reason, and what we've been using them back here for, is they can naturally clear land. Now, they're probably not as good as goats. We've had them out here a lot of the winter, and they've been clearing up this woods, and this has been pretty bad in here with the green thorns and sticks and everything else, and the pigs have been going through and cleaning up this area. Like I said, goats would probably be better, but these guys can do it. Some people use their pigs to till a spot of land for a garden. These guys could do that. These guys don't root as bad as most pigs, but they will turn that soil for you, especially if they're in an area longer than normal. But another purpose for these pigs is they are a great stress release. We like to come out here and pet the pigs, and when you're having a rough day, these kunekunes are kind of like dogs. They're just fun to be around. They love belly rubs, they love getting petted, and they're just a great companion. And a lot of people will have these as pets. These are not our pets. They do serve a purpose for us, but they are great animals and just a great stress release for you on your farm. And the main reason that we have the pigs, and some people can't believe we do it, but we do, is for the great pork. These guys have been raised right, been fed the right food, been out on pasture where they can get grass and acorns and grubs and everything that they need for their diet, and it produces fantastic pork. This is our first year we were able to get some of ours butchered, and the meat was fantastic. And I'm not saying it's better than other meats. I don't know that because I haven't had other pasture-raised pork from other farms, but it is great. We've been able to get a lot of meat, and it is delicious. So we do have them for food and food purposes. And the one reason we like the coonies is because they're smaller and it doesn't take up a bunch of freezers when you get pigs butchered. So that may be a downfall for some, because these guys do take about 18 months to grow out into a butcher weight. But we like it just because it's not so much pig, and it's easier to handle. They're easier to handle, and the meat you get back is easier to handle. You don't have to have a walk-in freezer. So those are just some ideas for you if you're thinking about pigs and why to get pigs for your farm. All right, guys, it has warmed up a little bit and the sun is out here. We are in with Chubbs and Josie and Jelly Beans in the house, staying warm. But last thing I want to talk about is these pigs being good mothers. We have had great experiences with our kunekunes. These two are going to be first time moms. I think their litters average about 6 to 8. We were lucky last spring, and we had litters of 9 on all of our litters. So they're a little bit bigger litters, and I know other breeds of pigs, it's not uncommon to have 12 to 13 for some, but just for us, these guys have good litters. They're great moms. They take care of their piglets. I know there's rare occasions in which sometimes mamas don't take care of their piglets, but we've never had one of those, so we're thankful for that. But so overall, they have been great moms, and they do a good job with their young, and it doesn't take that long either. It's 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. That's how long the pigs are pregnant for until they have their piglets. So if you're looking for an animal that has good sized litters, they are easy to get bred. We've never had issues with that, and they take care of their babies, and they're good moms. So pigs could be a good option for you if that's your thing. And one last thing I want to talk about is just if you're nervous about pigs because the size of them, then kunekunes may be the breed for you, because they are a docile, gentle pig, and they do not get that big. And that does not mean that you should not be aware that they're still wild animals with these boars around these females. We've never had any issues. This is Chubbs here. He's one of our bigger boars, and we've never had issues, but we know that he is a boar and he has tusks, and they are wild animals. But if you're nervous about the size of the animals, then you may want to start out with kunekune pigs. But I encourage you, try some pigs. They're great animals. They get a bad rep. People think they're stinky and dirty and gross, but these guys are actually probably the cleanest animals on our farm, believe that or not. And with us moving them and cleaning up manure, we never smell them. They are not stinky. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first part of this series of why raise animals. And we started with pigs. We're gonna do ducks, chickens, and turkeys coming up, so stay tuned for those. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Remember, make the change, and we'll see you on the next video.